Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Transformers Age of the Primes 2-pack G2 Dinobots Swoop and Sludge. You can see them there in front of the box. We'll go ahead and put them off to the side real quick and take a look at the box. And yep, it is a, well, I guess these Age of the Primes special boxes. You got, a nice bit of artwork of Swoop and Sludge there, kind of the somewhat matching the color palettes they have on the figures themselves. You got the Transformers Age of the Primes thing, and their names right there, and Hasbro right there, and of course 31 steps for Sludge and 21 steps for Swoop. You got Transformers and the Karatomi up here on the top, right there. On the side, you have, there's Swoop, artwork of Swoop, and hey, look, there's Sludge. On the bottom, there's copyrights and warnings, what's included. And on the back, you have, well, this, again, the artwork in black and white, and I guess more manufacturing stuff, and little blurb. In battle, Swoop is an excellent aerial combatant, and Sludge is a brute force powerhouse when I think these Dinobots make fierce opponents. That's the box. Included, of course, are the instructions, which, it's one set of instructions, which has, Sludge on one side and Swoop on the other. It's pretty straightforward on that front. Because these are not particularly difficult to transform, mostly because they are Dinobots. So, yeah, that's the other thing as well, is that, well, they are G2 Dinobots, which means I have reviewed these guys before, so I'm going to try to make this a little bit quick. And focus mostly on differences, which obvious one here is the colors. The colors here are very different compared to the G1 versions. You got very bright, gaudy, unreleased colors. Because, yeah, these two never actually got released in G2 because the line got canceled before they could come out. So, looking at Sludge here, you can see it is, well, he is orange and very, kind of a very deep saturated blue. Yeah, right here. Yeah, so orange, blue, with a little bit of black detailing right there. You can see all that. His face is his head is pretty much the same as his G1 head. He's also got, of course, got some silver right here as well. It actually stands out really weird. The silver really pops. He also got a weird gold jaw. I'll show that off a little bit more in the dinosaur mode. But yeah, that's pretty much the big thing here. All his posability is pretty much still the same. All that is how it was before. I will note, oddly enough, one hip ratchet is softer than the other. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. Probably not. And also the knees, that's the other thing. The G1 Sludge, at least the first release, because there's two releases, had some issues with his knees. I will note these are a bit tighter than my G1 version, but not much tighter. I was hoping for better than this, but they're tighter. It's not like my G1 Sludge where doing this is like you can hear them just kind of flopping all over the place, but they're still not as tight as I'd like them to be. So yeah, that's pretty much the only major difference. And also the other thing is, we're gonna have the transformation joint right here, this joint right here is upper elbow joint. Getting that to move is a huge pain on this guy, and I have no idea why. It just really does not want to move. So that's one thing. Of course, he comes with his gun, which is now all done in black instead of, there's no gold on it anymore, so it's just all black now. No sword still, which is disappointing. So there's that. As for Swoop here, the major difference, obviously, behind his color, which is, this crazy blue and green combo with some gray and a little bit of red. Yeah. That's one thing. He really pops to the point of some people called him a knock. He looks almost like he's a knockoff, which I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not, but yeah. Yeah, it's quite the combo. I rather like the look. It's a very nice. I'm not sure how well. A lot of people noted in the initial photography, the blues kind of came off a little bit different, but here, oh man, it looks really good in person. Be honest. Of course, there's one of the swords in the red. And of course, that's the big difference here between him and the G1 Swoop is the face sculpt, and well, obviously the colors. Face sculpt. This is a more toy-ish face sculpt, as I guess kind of almost which leads me to believe that a toy color Swoop is kind of on the horizon. Because yeah, we got the toy head and everything, which is kind of a nice little visor thing and kind of weird, like, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be an open mouth or a faceplate or what, but yeah, he still got his crest and everything too. So yeah, he still has his gun, his little missile rocket launcher, rockets, whatever you want to call them. Right now I got them on the back of the wings and everything. He's still got his Tamashi stage port. Again, all the posability is still the same as before, for better or for worse. Actually, still pretty good. The only thing, of course, is still with the somewhat limited waist joint, just because of how he transforms. Still has some ratchets here and there, mostly on the legs. Yeah, he's still a pretty darn good figure, and actually still one of my favorite Dinobots. And of course, there's also still, it comes with a second sword still, which looks like Grimlock's sword, so that you can give that to your G2 Grimlock if you want. Which is still unfortunate. They still don't, so you still, with the G2 Dinobots, you do not get Slug or Sludge's swords, which is kind of stupid in my opinion, but yeah. Yeah, still got solid posability for the most part. Sludge is here, still has some weak knees, but not they're somewhat improved over at least my release, the initial release version of Sludge. Got some really bright colors, you know, for the G2 thing. So if you really like G2 colors, this will be right up your alley. If you don't, well, this is going to probably, you know, not be for you. And yeah, again, Sludge has this weird thing of like just straight up, his elbows are weirdly tight for transformation. As for some measurement stuff, because I didn't do that the first time because, yeah, I wasn't doing it yet. Both of them. Okay, so for Swoop, his height in this mode is 8.5, to the top of his crest, I should mention, is 8.5 inches or 21.6 centimeters. And his weight is 8.6 ounces or 244 grams. As for Sludge, his height is 8.25 inches or 20.9 centimeters. And his weight is 13.4 ounces or 380 grams. So, pretty hefty, chunky guys. With Swoop here being the lighter too, which makes sense because considering it's Swoop, and Swoop tends to be a bit smaller than the rest of the, it's a smidge smaller than the rest of the Dinobots. Yeah. As for some comparison stuff, real quick before I, you know, start really going all in here. Here's a Studio Series 86 Optimus, just to give you an idea. They are bigger than him, which makes sense. They should be. So there's that. Here's G2 Swoop with G1 Swoop. Just to give you an idea there. Yeah, you can see the obvious difference in color and deco, and also, of course, the faces. There also, I got his little rocket paws on the front instead of the back, and one of them's kind of partially come off a bit, but yeah. So it's that. And as for Sludge here's a G1 Studio Series Sludge. An idea there. You can see, yeah, my G1 Sludge has a tendency to lean backwards a bit. He'll stand, but he has a tendency to lean backwards. But you can see the difference in colors there. This guy really pops. He probably glows under blacklight too. So there's that stuff. And of course, here are the 5 G2 Dinobots in their insane, gaudy glory. I think that looks great together. All the 5 of them. That's a pretty good, yeah, color. That's the color, rainbow colors of nightmare fuels type, whatever you want to call it. So there's that. So yeah, that's the robot modes. I think they're great. You know, they're still pretty solid. Sludge has a minor improvement to him compared to his G1 version. Very minor, I should mention. There's still, I think the colors are great. If you don't like G2, you're not going to like these, but you know, I think the colors are great. They're great. They're still great toys overall. I don't have seen any real mold degradation or anything for the most part, other than possibly some weirdness going on with Sludge's hip or elbows. I'm not sure if that's degradation or just they kind of screwed something up. But regardless, I think they're good figures. So that's the robot modes. We're going to get them transformed both into their Dino modes, and we'll continue on from there. Yeah, transformation, of course, is still, like I said, pretty simple because they're Dinobots, even though they're, they're large leaders, but yeah, they're pretty simple because, the Dinobots don't exactly need the most complex transformations, of course. As you saw, also Sludge is a bit more complicated than Swoop, which is not surprising, but yeah, you can see, again, a lot more of the silver kind of popping up with Sludge here, particularly with it, again, with a weird gold jaw. I'm not sure why, and all that stuff. But it kind of looks interesting, to say the least. Mostly orange, most of the blue's tucked away, except for a little bit right there, right there. Of course, the gun's still right there. Some of these bits are a little tighter. Like, I think these front legs are a bit tighter than the G1 version. Just a bit. Still has the same thing. The G1 version has the same problem, which is this entire seam line right here. Almost everything here does not want to actually quite stay together. It's a little frustrating, but overall, it still generally works. This thing, actually, I've noticed the neck part, this right here, likes to untab itself a little bit easier than the G1 version, unfortunately. But yeah, generally, though, it still has all the same articulation and everything. Our Swoop here, of course, again, you got pretty much, the same greens and blues and everything. I got it standing up right now. Of course, you can also, have it up like this and have him flying. Again, the Tamashi stage port right there lets him, fly if you want. This can store away the other sword if, you don't have it on Grimlock, can also store away back here as well. So yeah, and of course, again, it's all the same articulation. Although notice these the wingtip bits here don't like to stay tabbed in as well as they do in the G1 version. It's something like these little blue pieces are a little bit warped or something. You can see that they're like slightly warped, so they don't like to stay tabbed in. I mean, they'll stay tabbed in if you don't mess with it, but yeah, you start messing with the wings, they just come undone really easily. So I'm not sure if that's just mine or if it's a common issue, but yeah, it seems like these blue pieces might be a little bit warped. I might have to, you can see that, might be able to have to heat them up so they sit properly. But, it still has all the stuff. Of course, there's actually a little bit of blue in here right there as well. Of course, it still also has the thing where you can, blast effect right there if you want on Swoop, or Sludge in the mouth. So yeah, everything still works the same as it did on the G1 version, just just in bright, gaudy colors, which is nice, I guess. Yeah, if you actually really want to having standing, you have to kind of point this the other way. Yeah, the other thing is the feet here don't tab in as securely as, at least on mine, as they do on the G1 version, particularly this leg right here. They'll come tabbed a lot easier overall, but still generally pretty good looking, again, as long as you like G2 stuff. And yeah, some more measurement stuff as well. Swoop length, I guess, if he's lying down, if he's lying down like this, everything. His length is 7¼ inches or 18.4 centimeters. And his wingspan is 12¾ inches or 32.3 centimeters. Sludge here, his length is 12 inches, almost exactly, in 30.5 centimeters. So, yeah, there you go on that stuff. So, again, some quick comparisons. Yeah, real quick, we're gonna first of all Swoop. Here's G2 Swoop with G1 Swoop. See, yeah. Let's go fold it in. Yeah. Here's G2 Sludge with G1 Sludge. I also need to lower this a bit. There we go. G1 and G2 Sludge right there. So there's that. Oop. And of course, here is the G2 Dinobot team as a whole. Yeah, again, they got the kind of gaudy colors, and they all look, I think, pretty well G2 together. So there's that. So yeah, there's that's G2 Swoop and Sludge. Again, overall, pretty much just as good as their G1 counterparts. Again, the Sludge has a slight improvement. G2 Swoop here now has the new face, which might interest some people, particularly if they're hoping for that red chest swoop. I mean, that seems more likely than ever now. If you don't like G2, of course, you're not going to like these guys because they're very G2. That's pretty much it. But yeah, if you like the G2 stuff, these are pretty good still. There's no real, they haven't no real degradation, mold degradation or anything. If anything, there might be some slight improvements here and there for the most part. Again, there's some pieces that might be a little bit iffy, but yeah. That's a 2-pack, so it's, you know, about $120 because, you know, that's the price of 2 liters now. Yeah, $120, unfortunately. I still wish that they came with, you know, more of the swords, particularly basically just give me sludge and slag sword or slug sword, whatever. You know, give me sludge and slug swords. Like, I don't see why they don't include those. It's just annoying that they still don't include them, but whatever. But generally, still really good set. If you like the G2 Dinobots, if you always kind of wondered what if with these two in particular, well, here you go. So that's it for this review. I hope you found it informative and entertaining. Hope you like, comment, subscribe. Check out my social medias down in the description and at the end of the video. Check out my Coffee Mate Patreon. I shall see you next time with another video review.